Hey, this is Coach Duncan. Hope everybody's being safe out there. I just want to talk to you a little bit about the marketing research PowerPoint that you're doing this for this week. It's really an activity to get you ready to take the test on Friday. Um, Probably should be working on it the next couple days until Thursday at least. So that's the idea, anyways. The first part, and if you want to think of this as a set of five slides, you can. If you can combine them, or if you need three slides to do one thing, that's all fine. Probably the easiest way to explain it is to explain it as five slides the first part, five slides the second part. The first part is defining and describing the different steps of the marketing research process. We've talked about it. I think I created two videos with it. So if you've got the textbook, you can look it up on Google, to be honest, and just look at videos. Lots of data on all these different steps. Again, I'm not going to go into that because I feel like the two lectures took care of that. The second part, and one slide per describing the steps, and you're going to create that slide with the idea that you're teaching these steps to a fellow student, I guess is how I would say it. The second part is actually doing a real world example of those steps. And so whether you do two different sections and do 1 through 5, then 1 through 5, or you do step 1 and 2, right together. I don't care. Just kind of just organize it to where it's easy to grade, I guess is how I would say it. The second part is going to be those same steps, but now you're doing a real world example. You're going to come up with a problem in the real world. Let's say, I'll just as a wrestling coach, I'm going to talk about wrestling. And maybe we did not have a very good um, clinic last summer. And so I want this summer's clinic to be better. That's my problem right there. I've defined it. And so step one, that now knowing that, I'm going to have to get some research. Now, whether I get my own research, primary, and I pull the people that went last year, or maybe I pull the people that didn't go last year. Um, or maybe I get some secondary research and I go find what a successful clinic somewhere else that really worked, and I find out what made that work. You pull all that data together um, in step two. Step three, you're going to organize this data, and if you're building a survey, you're going to do it when you build the survey. And so this is going to leak into two because you're going to have to know this stuff um, if you're if you're collecting the data. Now, and you're going to have to know it obviously when you analyze the data too. But we got to talk about being valid and reliable. When you use your data, you might find data out there that's good data, it's accurate data, but it's not valid because it's not measuring what you need it to measure. In this case, if I am polling people that did come to the clinic and I want to know um, what's wrong with my clinic, and I'm talking to beginner wrestlers, we'll say it was for elementary age or middle school age, and who have never been to a clinic, they may not be able to tell me why this wasn't a good clinic from another clinic. And so that those answers is as wide a range and as open as it might be, as much money and time as I want to spend in interviewing these 12-year-olds, it might not be that valid, might not even be the right person that makes the buying decision in coming to the clinic or makes that decision. And so a lot of that information might not be useful. just not valid. Another example is reliability. When I test, I actually tried to prove this to administration. This was a long time ago. We started going survey crazy, and they wanted to do surveys as part of the teacher evaluation. Well, they win. That's part of the evaluation. You guys do tons of surveys, by the way. But I showed them that some of these answers were not reliable. I went to a meeting and I kind of told them what I was thinking, and they were like, "No, we got to do surveys. We got to do surveys. We got to do surveys." Okay, fine. And so I did the same survey I did on a test day, and then I gave the same survey, same class, I gave on a food day. Wide range of differences. One day they told me I was a horrible teacher. One day they told me I was an awesome teacher, totally based on what was going on in the classroom during the survey. Um, well, that kind of a survey is not very reliable. You can't, or you can duplicate the survey with completely different results based on other things. And so you got to watch the data that you do collect or you do buy, because you need it to be valid to answer what you need, and you need it to be reliable, meaning they're not going to change their opinion because of uh, some other factor or stimulus out there. That it's consistent. That this is when when this thing we're measuring happens, this is what they say. Just consistency in the answers. It's repeatable and without change, meaning you don't have this wide range of answers. Okay, and so those are important. Organizing the right data in a way that is useful. Now, when you do that, I start calling it information. That's just me personally. I call data collection of data, but once we start organizing it, now I'm using information to make decisions. When you do that, this organized data, you're going to have a recommendation for a solution. In my example, I want to fix my clinic, right? And I got all these different, what a good clinic looks like. I went out and researched. I bought maybe a formula or a plan or maybe even a class, and they taught me how to do it. Now I've analyzed, talked to the parents and the participants, and what they want in a clinic. That's however you organize it and appreciate it. That's how I say it. Now you're going to have to come up with um, recommendations. Once you do that, give me your plan and maybe possible problems that you're going to have implementing the plan. And now you've just gone through the 5 steps in a real world situation. Um, if you need to collect real data to be able to talk about it, do that. Um, and if you have to make it up, that's fine. So you can show that you're using data. That's how I want you to do it. Or go get real data, depending on if you're talking about lunch programs, you could go get real data and then talk about real things and get real research. So make this as real world as you can. And if don't go buy something, but if you need to make something up just so you can talk about secondary data, that's fine too. But what I want you to do is go through like a real world situation, how it's going to be graded, and I might do a rubric so you can see this better. The first 5 slides, depending on content, neatness, and illustrations being eye-catching, because you're teaching somebody in the first part. I'm going to give each slide somewhere between 1 to 5 points for a total of 25. The second part, I'm doing the same thing essentially, except for slide 2, which is the survey. I do want you to create a couple questions, at least a couple questions of real data or made up data if it helps you to talk about validity and reliability of your survey, or to talk about um, secondary or primary data. And so, and I'm calling this slide 2, but it deals with slide 2 and 3. There's going to be a bonus 10 points because I know there's a little more work in that. for a total of 60 points. And hopefully going through um, all of these steps, teaching all of these steps, and then actually kind of making yourself do the steps, get you ready for the test on Friday. Just quick note so you know what's going on. That's what I'm thinking. Hope everybody's being safe. Have a good day.